Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. And a little bit of a different show this morning. I haven't prepared a lot for you. And that's kind of out of character for me. I was starting off the morning, a cup of coffee, some breakfast, as always. Got done with the workout and started listening to the news of the day. And I watched a great segment by Tim Pool. And I like Tim Pool. I really do. I give him a hard time sometimes because he lives 5 miles away from me. I've never met the man. And it just baffles me that I haven't. And it's probably because I haven't reached out. I'm sure if I did, he would be like, hey, would love to have a conversation. Or maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. We seem to have similar thought process when it comes to most things. But it's an exceptional piece. And it's on Aaron Bushnell, the United States Air Force veteran who immolated himself in front of the Israeli embassy. And this one's particularly difficult for me because I just wrote an article on it, and it'll be up on Dumb News later. You can take a look. And I'm doing this segment in order to support the article because I've learned that you have to have multiple forms of medium to reach people. But no matter how many videos are made or how many articles are written, there is something that eludes people when it comes to veteran suicide. And it's a fairly palpable reaction that I'm seeing. And across the board, you've got people on the left, you've got people on the right, and then somewhere in the middle. And the people on the left are using this as a feather in their cap to point out the genocide or the empirical expansion of Israel conquering a Palestinian state and how this is something that should be opposed at every facet of our government with every person who has an opinion about, the days of World War II and World War I and Nazis and the Bolshevik Revolution and Genghis Khan, is that this is a very similar type of colonization taking place. And this suicide from this veteran speaks out against all of those atrocities, even though that's not necessarily what he said. And then you've got the people on the right who are using this as a declaration of our current state of our military, that our military is feckless and weak and there's no leadership. And this is the reason it happened. And all of those things may be accurate in some way or another in some context. But there's also the kind of the middle ground where nobody is pointing out a glaring and obvious inaccuracy when it comes to this story. Nobody's talking about the media and social media and their impact on people with mental illness. And I think you can go and look at plenty of examples where people have done what are considered by them self-aggrandizing acts that are nonsensical and based in very limited reality. I choose my words carefully because this show has always been an advocate for veterans. And we used to end every single show the same way. Veterans Crisis Hotline. And it is such a ridiculous thing that a show is pushing forward commercials and phone numbers and emails, and then a copyright strike comes out and says you can't share this video because this is owned by VCL. And I was baffled. So I got onto the phone and emails with people from VCL who I've spent years working with. and said, I don't care about the money. I'll donate all the proceeds from my shows to VCL if I have to. Why won't you let me play this video? It is a 1-minute touching video I've been playing for 3 years that really reaches out to veterans. And the reason I got was essentially it's about money. And I really allowed that to control my show. And I stopped doing it as much as I used to. Now, we still talk about veteran suicide. I still have it up on my website, phone number, but every show doesn't end the same way. Now, I do pop up a graphic that says VCL, but I stopped talking about it because of copyright strikes, which is insanity. The fact that you have a show, no matter how big or small it may be, that wants to share something that can save a life, and we're worried about the almighty dollar. And this is a reflection of this social media narrative that is taking place, that people are put into a column or put into a box where everything that their political party says they have to agree with, otherwise they're castigated out. They're subjected to ridicule. Are there things that Democrats believe that I agree with? Yes. And are there things that Republicans believe that I agree on? Yes. That is the whole point of this, where the things, the lines of delineation or the lines of demarcation that separated the left and the right were few and far between. Only about 5 or 6 things, because classic liberalism is where we all were born from. Not liberal, classic liberalism. Look it up. These were inherent beliefs that everybody deserved equal rights, that everyone was an individual, that the masses and the collective were not the focus, that it was about the individual right. That's what a republic is. A democracy is the mob and mob rule. The republic is about the individual. And classic liberalism believes in the inherent right to protect those rights and protect those individuals with the same fervor that you would protect the masses. The reason why this bothers me so much is people are taking this Aaron Bushnell suicide and they're politicizing it for their own gain. Now, if Aaron Bushnell wants to light himself on fire to protest a conflict, that is his choice completely. Do I believe it's founded in reality? No, I believe that this man immersed himself into Twitter. He immersed himself into a specific storyline with very little investigation into the other side, and he drew a line in the sand and said, this is where I am, and I'm going to stand, and I'm going to die on this hill. I don't know how many more idioms and analogies I can give you, but this is it. This is the hill I die on. And the thing we're missing more than anything when it comes to this is that it's another suicide of a veteran. And it doesn't matter how it happened. It doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not. All suicide is stupid. Every suicide, it's never based in a reality. That's the problem. It's within the individual where the problem lies. And all the external stimuli in the world, yes, it has a profound impact on the state of mind of the mentally unstable. And I don't care if it's TBI, PTS, 2 very different things. I don't care if it's depression or anxiety, bipolar, it doesn't matter. Mental illness is absolutely impacted by external stimuli. But the real problem isn't what somebody says or what somebody does or a firework going off on 4th of July. It is the person themselves who's suffering from it, which is the problem. It's like trying to cure cancer with a pack of cigarettes. The person inside, the veteran or average everyday person, is the problem. And they are trying to solve something and try to navigate through waters and try to navigate through a fog, which is impenetrable with the tools that they have until they are provided those tools, which is unrelenting support. A buddy that they can reach out to, a battle buddy, a swim buddy, somebody who's there for them, who has been in that hole that can help them navigate through it or up and out. It takes consistent dialogue. It takes a sharing at a level that is to describe the indescribable, to share the unshareable, to not only expose themselves to a level of vulnerability, which is something that caused them to feel this pain and this suffering and this anguish, and share it with the people that they love is an impossibility. And this is why veterans carry these things around, because it's something they don't want to expose the people that they love to. And yet it's the only solution. To talk about it, to share it, to live through it again. When the demons come and they close their eyes and we stare at the beyond, the eternal slumber, some people find that to be safer than having to wake up in a cold sweat and do it all again tomorrow. Aaron Bushnell isn't a hero because he lit himself on fire. Aaron Bushnell isn't even that unique with his disposition about Israel and Palestine. There are millions of others who agree or disagree with him. In fact, there's nothing memorable about his take. The only thing that makes him memorable is his uniqueness, is his story, is his sacrifice. And the fact is that no one will ever be able to hear it. And the most damning part about this whole thing is Aaron was doing so much to escape the pain he felt and to escape this cruel world that he thought it was a way to kill the pain. But it's not. Because something so insurmountable and so very dangerous for the human soul to consume alone isn't killed along with him. It's simply transferred to the people who loved him. And now they have to carry those demons. They have to carry those burdens. They have to ask the never-ending question of why. And as they collect and traverse through those waters themselves, the answers will be less obtainable because Aaron's not there to tell the story. Aaron's not there to be the crib key or the cipher to help them understand. And that pain will remain forever. There is help. There is a way out. But it doesn't start with trying to analyze or use somebody's sacrifice to help our cause or our mundane political ideology, which doesn't matter. In 5 years, nobody will remember Aaron's name. Nobody will remember him in 5 minutes because the next tragedy will replace him. There are some of us who see the 22 a day, and these are friends. These are family. These are people we know. And I don't know Aaron. I don't even know if I would like the guy. But what I do know is that he is a brother in arms, and we are casting him aside for our own political value. Where is the humanity gone? There are so many veterans, 22 a day, who take their lives. Daniel Sommers, Army veteran, Operation Iraq Freedom. He suffered from PTS. It's not PTSD. It's not a disorder. You can solve it. You can cure it. You can live with it. It's post-traumatic stress. And he also suffered from TBIs. He took his own life in 2013. His suicide note detailed his struggles with the VA system and the horrors he witnessed in war. It brought national attention to the plight. And most veterans know his name, but nobody remembers. Clay Hunt, Marine veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Hunt became an advocate for veterans, and he was all of them who were struggling with PTS. And before his suicide in 2011, his death led to the passing of the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention for American Veterans Act in 2015. And it aimed at improving mental health care and service for veterans. Kevin Ash, a former Marine who experienced heavy combat in Afghanistan. After returning home, he struggled with PTSD and the transition to civilian life, leading to his suicide in 2014. His family has since spoken out about the need for better mental health and support for returning veterans. We hear it all the time, but little is done. Cole Schuler, an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan. Schuler took his own life in 2015 while receiving treatment at a VA facility. His case raised questions about the efficacy of the VA mental health services and the support systems available to veterans seeking help. I'm not going to show the video of Aaron. In fact, I struggled with showing the picture of him on fire, because those images impact people in different ways. Some people see it and compare it to Hollywood. Some people might say, well, it's not that bad. Some people understand and have seen far worse in reality. But either way, I'm not going to show you a video of what this serviceman did. But I will quote his words to you. I'm an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Now, of course, this is what you will remember depending upon what side of the aisle you have chosen. What an idiot. We don't colonize places. Please pick a sovereign area that is claimed by the United States that is not ours. This isn't about colonizing. This isn't about what Israel is doing in Palestine. This is about mental health. This is about the radicalization of people who are not healthy, and they're being taken advantage of. Justin Miller, a National Guard veteran who took his life in 2018 after seeking help at a VA hospital. His death prompted discussions on how to better address the mental health needs of veterans, particularly in emergency settings. Brandon Ketchum, a veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan wars, Ketchum struggled with PTS and substance abuse before his suicide in 2016, after reportedly being denied inpatient treatment at a VA facility. His death has been cited in calls for reform within the VA system, as we've been hearing for decades. And last but not least, Staff Sergeant Michelle Young died by suicide just a few weeks ago. Mike and I both had met her. Mike knew her more than I did. And nobody knows. We have kids dying in Chicago every single day, weekends, 35, 50, 60, 100 a weekend. And nobody cares. If we're going to say that we care about Israel and the genocide there, then how do we feel about South Africa? How do we feel about Mogadishu? How do we feel about the Congo? Nobody cares. 22 veterans commit suicide a day because they're not receiving the help that they need. And I'm to blame too. It doesn't matter how many 501c3s I work with. It doesn't matter how VetNet or my time with working with VCL. It doesn't matter how many lives we've actually impacted on this show to help people through that fog, that never-ending haze. I allowed myself to forget something that was very important to me by not talking about the Veteran Crisis Hotline every single show. I committed to doing that, and I did it for a better part of 3 years. And I commit to veterans and you that it's something I will continue to do, no matter how many watch or don't watch. Because there is a larger problem at play here. And it's not about whether Bushnell was right or wrong. It's that he died for no reason. He survives things that would kill the normal person, their spirit, their soul. And he, like many veterans, survived death and wisps of brushing up against the robed man with a scythe, with his skeletal fingers, and escaped his grasp, only to run to him as the only solution, the final solution that solves nothing. The last thought I'll leave you is that when a parent, loved one, is lost overseas, a son, a daughter, a grandparent may receive it, a family member, whatever. Someone who remains will receive a gold star to remember their sacrifice. There are no gold stars when it comes to veteran suicide. No matter how much responsibility the United States government, the military have in this and are culpable in these decisions by abandoning these people, men and women alike, there is no gold star for veterans who commit suicide. It's something that should be remedied. But then again, nobody will really care anyway. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. I'll be bound 7 o'clock tonight. God bless. I don't have much else except for Veteran Crisis Hotline. Dial 988, then press 1. 22 veterans commit suicide a day. They need our help. PTS, traumatic brain injuries, anxiety, depression are all very real. And without you, they will continue to be lost. If you know somebody, all you have to do is pick up and dial this number, and the VCL will call that person for you anonymously and offer them the help. There is a way out. Veteran Crisis Hotline is there for you. If you can't make that call, I'll make it with you. I'll make it for you. Just reach out to me. Go to thedumbshow.com and click on the contact and let me know if a veteran needs help. I'll be more than happy to assist. Thank you for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. See you at 7 o'clock.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.